Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to take you through a mobility/recovery workout today. We think about this workout as like something to do if you're feeling tight or sore after a major workout. Maybe you wake up the next day and you're feeling sore from that, or if you're just looking for a recovery day. Maybe this is your off day from training or doing any type of strength or resistance workout. So this is a simple routine here using a suspension trainer that you can implement into your routine. It doesn't take too long. It allows it for a more restorative process and returning those muscles that you've worked hard, those contracted muscles, returning to the range of motion and aiding in quick muscle recovery. So you get back at it. So we're going to start with a couple moves here on the suspension trainer. I'm going to walk through each one, and then we're going to compile it together in a sort of circuit format here for you. So let's start with first adjusting your suspension trainer to about mid-level, mid-length on the straps. From there, we're going to go into a standing facing away position. So you're going to have one handle in each hand here. In as vertical position as you can, standing nice and tall here. Hold your hands out above your head, maintaining tension in those handles with your hands. It's going to be light tension, not going to be like you're pressing too hard like a chest press or something like that. We're just maintaining tension so that band or that suspension trainer remains tight behind you. All right, so you're going to tuck the elbows down, keeping an open palm here on both hands, and then press it back up above your head. Pull it down, press back up over your head. So what you'll feel here is kind of muscle groups moving around that shoulder joint, that shoulder complex. There's a lot going on there as you pull down and tuck those shoulder blades together and squeeze and press back up over the top. That's the primary focal point. As you maintain tension in the straps, also working in that chest and shoulder attachment area here, those muscle groups, your pectoralis major, your pectoralis minor, the areas that attach in the front of the shoulder. So keeping that tension in the strap is really important there. All right, next one is going to be a lower back stretch. No adjustment needed on the TRX or your regular suspension trainer. We're going to send the hips back behind us. So I'm going to be in kind of like a hinge position, creating like a V shape at the hips. Sideways V here. What you're going to do is at this full extension here, as you've walked back, you have a full extension of the knees and elbows. We're going to actually bend one knee forward. And as you're doing that, you're going to twist your torso and stack your elbows so you face the opposite or perpendicular direction. Return to the middle. Same thing other side. Bend one knee, twist away from that knee, stacking your elbows back towards the middle. Now let's incorporate that in a breathing pattern. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, that's going to be our lower back stretch there. Primarily working your QL muscle, your quadratus lumborum, and then also just the erector spinae that align your spine. That muscle group that is responsible for posture and twisting of the torso there. That's what we're kind of targeting there. Okay, after that, we're going to go into a hip hinge. So your feet are going to be wide stance apart, a little bit wider, but the same standing position as you did with the lower back stretch. So just wider stance. Now instead of my hips pushing back, I'm going to roll myself forward so the hips kind of stay in the same position. So you're going to maintain tension in the handles with your hands as you roll forward, and we're going to hinge at the hips. Looks like this. You're rolling forward, applying pressure in there, pressing into those handles, pulling back up. One more time here. Rolling down, forward, and pulling yourself back up. Very important to keep the tension here through the straps, through those handles. If you don't and you start to roll forward, you're probably going to fall to the ground or lose your balance here or come up on the toes. And you want to keep those heels flat on the ground here. So our main target here is, while you are mimicking the stretch of the upper body as like a child's pose, we're also getting a nice pull there through the hamstrings and your lower body as well. So a little double whammy on that move. Keep in mind as you're rolling forward, my hips should be in the same position versus the lower back stretch when your hips are diving back behind you. So while it's still a hinge at the hips, it's in a different plane that we're moving. Okay? So after that, we're going to go on to our T-spine rotation. This one's a little tricky. T-spine rotation, you're basically going to switch to a single handle mode. So you're going to try to loop the handles of your suspension trainer together here. So you're holding just one handle here. Or you can also hold both foot cradles if your suspension trainer's foot cradles, hold them together in one hand. And now I'm going to be facing perpendicular. One shoulder faces my anchor point. I'm going to line up my feet also perpendicular, or actually parallel to the anchor point of my TRX. So one foot in front of the other, heel to toe, lined up like that. I'm going to walk it out till I have a full extension across my body of this arm. Free hand's going to be up here at the side of my suspension trainer strap. Okay. The hip that's closest to the anchor point, that should be the foot that's in front. If we were stacking your feet heel to toe here and lining it up. And what we're going to do here is we're going to twist, creating a T-spine rotation. T-spine is your thoracic spine. You're going to twist away from your anchor point here until you meet and finish with the shoulders both facing the anchor point here. And return back up. Let's add the breathing pattern in there. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So as you're twisting here, wherever the shoulders tend to move and whatever they end up facing, I want your head to follow that too. So we're on a swivel here. We're rotating with the motion there. That's how we establish that neutrality of the neck and the back within that move. Okay. Next one looks probably familiar to a lot of you. Lateral deep lunge here. You're going to be that wide stance again, returning to wide stance like you did with the hip hinge. We're going to actually keep our feet here, so not doing a moving lateral lunge, but we're going to do a deep stretch through each side. So I'm going to drop down low as I can, using my TRX or suspension trainer for support here. Get as low as I can. Lifting another toe off the ground here. So get a little pull through the adductors, the inside of your hips. And you're just going to alternate. Very important, as in any lunge or squat, however you want to look at it. We're keeping that back neutral here. So we got to still tilt the pelvis, send the hips back, keeping the chest up so that back stays straight. All right, the last one here. We're going to adjust. This is the only time we're going to adjust. We're going to adjust the strap here. Full length position. Standing facing away. We're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So this one's a little tricky also in terms of the setup. You take 1 foot forward like you're doing a split squat. Hands are above the head here. So I'm going to walk a little further so I got more verticalness here. So I have my left foot forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same side hand and I'm going to tuck it down behind me, maintaining an overhead extension with the other hand here. Tension through both handles. Pressing through with those hands. And what you'll feel there is this pull, little tug through the hip flexor, and also you're running up your oblique down the side of your abs on your elevated side. So that would be the trailing foot. And then we're going to switch, same thing, other side. 1 step forward, 1 step back. Oops, same one. 1 step forward, 1 step back. And then we're going to pull that same side down. The same side as the foot that's in front. So that hand goes behind you. Other hand remains elevated here, and you'll feel that pull through the hip flexor and also running up your side of your back. Okay, those are going to be our 6 moves here. We're going to go through the routine now. You know the moves. We're going to dive straight into it. 30 seconds each one, and I like to focus on the breathing part of this because much of a restorative process is basically focusing on the breathing just as much as the motion. So I'm going to run a little timer here. We're going to start in the order that we went. Wall slides, lower back stretch, hip hinge. I'm going to switch 2 of them. So we're going to do the lateral deep lunge after the hinge since we already have the wide foot stance. And then we'll do T-spine rotation and hip flexor. Let's go. So first one, standing facing away here. We got 30 seconds. So you're standing vertical, pulling those elbows down, pressing back up, pulling down, back up. It's kind of like you're doing a lat pull down here, cable machine. But I'm keeping an open hand, not a closed fist here. And keeping tension. When I say keeping tension, lightly pushing through those handles with your hands. Okay, so this big transition period here. Let's go lower back stretch next. So send the hips back. We're going to twist those elbows, bend one knee, and alternate. Inhale in the middle. Exhale. Keep alternating here. All right, we're going to transition to that hip hinge here. So we're going to be going wider stance here. Same thing for the lateral lunge as well after that. So this one we're rolling forward. Hips stay ideally in the same position here. Roll it forward. Back up. Roll forward. Back up. Inhale up here. Exhale. Roll it forward. Gently pushing and applying pressure through those handles with your hands. That's our cue here. Let's change to a lateral deep lunge here. So you don't have to move where your position is right now. That's why I wanted to switch those for convenience. We are gonna just go straight into that lateral lunge. So hands are at our side here on the handles. Use that for support as you lean out as low as you can towards the ground. You don't have to go as low to lock out your knee. I just like to so I can lift my toe up and create that adductor stretch to the inside of the hip. But go as low as you can. Our focus really is challenging our range of motion through mobility, so kind of work through that tightness, but listen to your body too. Good. All right, let's finish it off with we got two more actually. Two spine rotation. No adjustment needed on the strap here. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Twist away, back up. So think that hip that's closest as you're perpendicular lined up to your anchor point. Hip that's closest to the anchor point, which is my right hip, that's gonna be the foot that's forward as I line my feet up heel to toe here. Twisting away till my chest faces the anchor, both shoulders do, and my head's on a swivel with it. Good. On the next round, we'll switch directions. Let's finish off with that hip flexor stretch here. Pull it out to full length adjustment, so you got a little bit more reach. Standing facing away, 1 foot forward. The same side foot that's forward, take that same side hand, twist it down behind you, keep the other hand elevated, press through the hips. Keeping vertical with that posture, back stays neutral, even as you apply pressure through the handles. Good, that is the end of the round here. We're gonna take a little break just to reset our straps of your suspension trainer. So in those last two, just make sure to remember which side that you did first, and we're gonna switch it on the next set, okay? Let's readjust this to mid-length. All right, so we're gonna start back at the top here. We're gonna go with those wall slides, standing facing away. And just remember at the end of the round, those last two moves, be sure to switch sides that you did from the last round. Okay, so I'll be facing away from you this time for the T-spine rotation. Here we go, wall slide first. All right, vertical, pull the elbows down, press up above the head. I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling pretty good. I was feeling sore earlier today, but this is great. And I probably don't do it enough. But if you have one of these suspension trainers, definitely take advantage of recovery day. Recovery day doesn't necessarily have to be an off day, as we've shown today. Okay, let's switch directions here. We're going to that lower back stretch here. No adjustment in the strap needed. Tuck the hips back like a sideways V here, hinging at the hips, extension of the elbows and knees. Inhale, twist, stack the elbows, bend one knee. Okay, bend the knee, and switch. You're twisting away from the knee. So your elbows stack away from the knee. In case you're wondering, how do I get that twist in there? It's always going to be opposite directions. So my right knee as I twist to the left. I really love this one. Roll on up. Okay. We got the hip hinge next, a little wider stance. Same position, but instead of our hips going back, we're rolling forward so they stay in place. Here we go. Apply pressure through the handles, light pressure there, and pick it on back up. If you feel like your heels are coming off the ground here, you can send the hips back a little bit just to give you more leverage, because you do want to feel that stretch through the hamstrings and anywhere else in the lower body here, mainly your adductors, hamstrings, calves. We want to maintain contact with the ground here. Excellent. Bring it on up. We're not changing position here. We're already ready for the next one. Doing that deep lateral lunge here. So whatever you didn't feel in this last one, you'll feel here for your legs. There we go. Drop it down. And switch sides. And again, the depth is up to you here. Everybody's range of motion is different. You just keep alternating. Find that challenging point where it feels tight, but you don't want to go any further because you feel like it's going to tear. Then you've probably found that spot. Here we go. Bring it out to a full length of the handles or the strap. And we're going to finish off with, we got the T-spine rotation. I'm always forgetting something. All right, I'm going to face this way now. This one you could do fully lengthened adjustment or mid-length, up to you. Still possible. So hip that's closest in the front here, that's the foot in the front. Twisting away, back in. Away, back in. It's probably better if we're comparing to do a mid-length adjustment here, because then you'll find, you'll notice my arm's in a contraction here versus an extension. It's still a nice feeling through that spine, right? It feels good. All right, we're gonna finish off here. Standing facing away. I'm already at the fully lengthened position here. I'm gonna take my step forward, opposite foot this time. And that same side foot that's forward, bring that hand back, applying pressure through both handles with both hands, and press through those hips. Good, go ahead and bring it on back up. Nicely done. All right, we're 2 sets down. We're gonna treat it like a regular workout here. So we're gonna do one more set. Gonna get in a 3rd set in here. Never hurts to have too much mobility. So let's work on that. And if you think about the grand scheme of things, how many exercises are we doing in our daily routine or our weekly routine compared to how many mobility exercises we're doing? Where we get a chance to stretch it out. And are we stretching after our workouts? Ask yourself that. So a 3rd set doesn't sound too shabby here. All right, we're gonna start with that wall slide after you got that mid-length adjustment. Here we go, folks. One more routine here, one more round. Vertical position here. Pull those elbows down to your side, press back up. Take a little step back here. Finish in that elevated position. Again, maintaining pressure, light pressure in those handles. Hands are in an open position here. As you apply that pressure, you might notice that you feel right below the arm, you feel the shoulder joint, you feel a little activation there. Your serratus anterior and some other muscle groups associated with your pull muscles like your lats or your elevation muscle. All right, we're gonna go into lower back stretch. No adjustment needed on the handles. Still in mid-length. Send those hips back and twist. So you can probably hear my breathing in this. You kind of want to make an emphasis on that when you're doing it too. You want to be able to hear your breathing. Bring it on up. All right, we're gonna do the hip hinge. We're gonna roll forward on that. So feet a little wider stance. Hips are staying generally above the same plane of your feet as your feet, and you're gonna roll forward. Now I like to hear my breathing here because it just reminds me that I'm maximizing those breaths, which is why I say you should be able to hear your breathing. Rolling forward. Okay, we're already in the position for the next one. We're gonna go lateral deep lunge here. And we do T-spine rotation after this, and I'm not gonna adjust the strap this time, so remind me not to adjust the strap. Okay, here we go. Low as you can, come back up. Take a step forward here so the chest is a little closer to the handles. And you might say like, hey, this kind of feels like a workout here. I'm feeling that tension in the legs, especially if you've done a leg day and you're feeling a little sore. So just lightly go through it. You don't have to go as deep as I am, or maybe you want to go deeper. All right, we're going T-spine rotation here. I'm going to face this way now. Line my feet up. Twisting away. Chest facing the anchor point. Head's on a swivel in the same direction. Walk it back a little bit more. So I got arm extension. We're going to switch halfway through, folks. So in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and do a nice little pirouette here. Twist away. And continue our motion just to even things out since our third set. We're finishing on an odd number. Good. Our last one here, full length adjustment of your suspension trainer. Standing facing away. Same thing here, we're going to switch halfway through. 1 foot forward, hands above the head. Here we go, that same side foot is forward. Twist that hand back, maintaining the other vertically. Posture straight, we press through our hips. Feel that pull through your hip flexor and on up this arm on this side. Bring it on up, other side. Apply pressure in there. Switch hands. Nicely done, nicely done. Bring it on back up here. All right, so you just did 3 sets mobility. I want you to check in with yourself. How do you feel? Do you feel a little looser? Do you feel just overall better than when you started? And that's the answer that you want to be yes. So if you did that workout and you enjoyed it, make sure you implement it in your routine here. Give yourself a chance to recover after a pretty tough workout, whether it's the day after, whether it's your rest day. Just find a place for it in your routine, and I guarantee you'll reap the benefits. Thanks for joining today. Hey there. If you enjoyed the content of this video, go ahead and tap that link at the bottom. Subscribe to our channel, KQ Fitness. You can also reach out to me directly. Find my contact info on our About page for questions and information about one-on-one training with myself. Appreciate you all.